Hey, what's up, folks? Tim Uchuk here from Simplify to Multiply. I hope you're having a great day. I really wanted to talk about this idea that's been kind of percolating in my mind lately, and it reminds me of the time I was in Japan, learning Japanese and learning about the culture. I was there in 2001, and for those of you that don't know, I was teaching and I was learning international business. And it's really funny, if for those of you that have tried to learn a language before, you've probably noticed this. So there comes a point in time where you're reading the textbooks and all the foundational stuff, but you notice one thing: things are progressing really, really slowly for you. And for me, I had spent just under a year studying from the textbooks, and it was okay. But the real explosion happened when I actually got there, and I intentionally surrounded myself with people who were not English first language. I surrounded myself with native Japanese speakers, and it was really, really uncomfortable. But funny thing happened. I put myself out there, and I was getting embarrassed by screwing up. They didn't understand what I was saying, but because I was producing and not consuming, in other words, I wasn't just reading from some textbook, I was out there having to really put my brain into a situation where it was having to adapt and really understand something for its true essence, so that I didn't have to think through the framework of a textbook. I had to think through the framework of how people actually spoke. And it was this really interesting situation, and it made me think of when we're in production versus when we're in consumption. And in your own business, I'm sure you felt this as well. I mean, you go to a bookstore on the weekend and you go to the business management, or you go to the marketing or whatever business or personal development section you cruise through, and you're flipping through the books, and the funny thing happens where you got this beautiful cover, shiny, brand new book. You go to the front and you purchase it, and what happens? You feel like that itch has been scratched. You feel like whatever the promise of that book has for you has already been achieved. And you go back and it sits on your bookshelf. Maybe you spend a few minutes with it, but what percentage of those books have you actually really, really consumed? And does that happen all the time? I wonder if you've experienced that. It's really funny. On the weekends, I don't know if you've felt this, where you go to check out one YouTube video, and 4 hours later you spent the last 3 hours in Narnia, randomly just going through all of these topics. And it's kind of that analogy where we often mistake motion for progress. And I got a picture in my office of a rocking horse, and you feel like you're making progress, but you're really just in motion, rocking back and forth. And so I want you to do this. I want you to kind of list out those activities that you do in a day, and be mindful of which of those activities are production. In other words, where you're creating value, or you're putting yourself in a situation where you're producing, you're getting things out of your head and actually getting them, whether it be writing a podcast, creating a video, or on the phone with your prospects, your customers, producing, versus consuming, where you feel like you're getting stuff done, you feel like you're being productive, but you're really in consumption mode. I think it's a really interesting activity, and I take it one step further, where I look at, out of all my activities, which of those activities are like $10 an hour activities? Like it feels good, but you're really kind of procrastinating. So I think that's a good lens to run through your day and filter through: are you in production mode or are you in consumption mode? So I hope that's useful for you guys as you go out there and tackle your day or your week. Think about it in your business world, but also think about it how you spend your time, your free time. And I think if you can kind of make the shift and figure out ways to spend more time in production mode, you're going to find more of your free time kind of opening up. So I hope that's helpful, guys. Hope you have a great rest of your day or week, and I will talk to you soon.